Thanks everyone for joining me. I'm excited to have Elijah here with me today from Tanzania and his company Nature Bound Africa. So I've never been to Tanzania. I've never seen the Great Migration or any of the other amazing sites that are there. So welcome, Elijah.
Thank you, April. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be speaking to you today.
Thank you. So tell me a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to start Nature Bound Africa.
Okay. My name's Eliyah Tumaini. I was born here in Tanzania, and my dad actually was a driver guide back in the days when I was just a small boy. And when he will not be busy, he used to take us out for safari. And with this, I got more interested in safaris, you see. So unfortunately, my dad passed away when I was still a teenager at 13. So from there, continued with my education, but with a lot of hardships. So when I finished my high school, I had to go vocational training college. So we didn't have much money. So sometimes I would work as a mountain porter for Kilimanjaro,
Oh, wow.
and I'll save some money. Then I'll continue paying for my college to be a driver first. You see, because that's all I could afford.
Yes.
Then slowly, I started guiding. Yeah, and then from there on, I started to become a driver guide for safaris to Serengeti, Manyara National Park, Ngorongoro Crater, and even to trips to Kenya because you see, Serengeti and Masai Mara, they're actually one big piece of land. But then during the colonial times, when it came to cutting the pieces of the land,
Oh, uh-huh.
so they cut Serengeti and they said this part is Serengeti, Tanzania, and this part is Masai Mara, Kenya. So when we are doing tour guide in Serengeti, we'll as well go to the Kenyan part side of Masai Mara. So that's how I worked for other companies as a driver guide. And then I was not very happy with the way the big tour companies, because at that time we could not even afford to have a website. There was no like much of internet, especially here in Arusha, compared to a big city like Dar es Salaam. So Arusha is very small where we are based, and it's the hub of tourism here in Tanzania. So to have internet connection was really hard. So even if a client was happy, and they'll say, "Hey, Leah, maybe next time I come, I'd like to see you." So they'll say, "I send you email." I'll say, "I'm sorry, email here it's a bit it's a bit complicated." So maybe they'll send us maybe a letter once they're
Oh.
back home to say they were happy with the safari. So slowly, the big companies at that time, we didn't have many lodges out there, especially remote places like Serengeti. So at times you'll have to sleep in a small tent, like three, four drivers. So I said one day I'll start my own safari company, and then I'll try to speak with the big tented lodges where they don't put a big tent,
Yes.
something like a mess tent, for the
Right.
drivers, and you can charge us even $2, $3 or something like that. Luckily, even before even I started my own company, there's one company, they had their own tented lodges, and this guy, he had gone through the same, and he was lucky to have partnered with some people from overseas,
Mm.
and they put tented mess for the driver guides, and I was like, oh, God had my prayers.
Yes. Yes.
So river guides will have somewhere to sleep instead of squeezing in small tents. So slowly, I progressed. I became operations manager. I was lucky to be operations manager for one of the safari companies. And then when I gained the proper knowledge, I started my own small safari business, Nature Bound Africa. Yeah,
Wow, what a story. Amazing. And I love
yeah.
your
So that,
honesty of how you started and built it yourself and wanted to do
yeah,
something different. So,
yeah.
how many people do you take on your trips? Because I like the idea of smaller for people that really like to photograph and maybe have more local type experiences.
Yeah. But actually, April, I can't say I really built Nature Bond on my own. You know, I was lucky. I had someone sponsor me while I was struggling to study tour guiding. So I was paid for good English tutor.
Oh, nice.
So I was lucky to have someone teach me English, like proper English,
Yes.
because our first language here in Tanzania is Swahili. So with that, so I had a lot of support of ideas as well from other tour guides. So I can't just accomplish all this on my own. So I had a lot of ideas also from fellow tour guide drivers. Yes, yes. And now to go to your to answer your question, normally before COVID, I would say because NatureBond is a small company, we don't have much marketing money. Even if I had, I would still like to put it in a way that if you look at our TripAdvisor, I will always like to meet my clients. If I won't be able to make it to the airport, one way or the other, either I'm out at safari as well with clients, or maybe after safari, I would like to meet my client and know how their safari was. So normally, I would say per year because there's sometimes we have low season. You
Mm,
see, so I'll say
right.
per year we'll get maybe like 20, 20 to 30 clients. Yeah, yeah,
So how
yeah.
many if I choose like is it all custom then? Or I notice on your website that thankfully you now can have a website, I understand. How
Yes,
many if you have a group tour are on the group tours?
yes. You see, now it's really changed because now we have our safari jeeps.
Okay.
Nowadays, we have people who convert them and it can fit to 7 people. You
Oh,
see, so normally, and everyone is guaranteed a window seat. You see, so normally
oh.
it's everyone is guaranteed a window seat. So
Mm-hmm.
normally it depends with the group. Like the last group, the biggest group we did before COVID just hit us, it was around, I think it was a family of 17 people. And with this now, because for us, we only have 2 jeeps.
Right.
Now, when we get extra clients, we normally rent the jeeps from other driver guides because there's some other driver guides, they have their own jeeps.
Oh,
So we
okay.
normally rent from them, yeah.
Okay. So
So
talk
the
about
charges,
what are your do you lead still then? Do you drive or guide still, or you just kind of put everything together with people?
yeah. Normally, when it's low season, I normally like also to do the guiding.
Yes.
But during the busy season, because I'm the one doing everything on the computer from arranging the itinerary from the beginning to the end. So I'll
Mm,
normally be at the office and I'll say, because I'll be making a small margin for my pocket, then I
right.
say, if I do the guiding as well, then there's a driver guide who's looking to do the same job and maybe they don't have anyone to give them the job as freelance driver guide. So I normally ask them to come take my jeep. I give them the itinerary. I tell them you'll go meet the client, introduce yourself, and at that time I already have updated the client, the driver guide that will be going. I also give them the name so the client knows who's coming to pick them at the airport with a placard written their name.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice. That's great that they
yeah,
you have someone meet them at the airport. Because I know if I flew to Africa, I'd be really nervous once my plane landed. Like, now what? I don't speak the language and,
yeah,
what to do. So,
yeah.
are there particular places that you really recommend for first timers?
Yes. For first timers, I highly, highly recommend Serengeti and Ngorongoro. Yeah, that's for Tanzania. For Kenya, I highly recommend Masai Mara and maybe Savo or Amboseli National Park.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that sounds
Yeah,
amazing.
this if you miss these parts, you'll have missed a big opportunity to see the animals because I've met clients. They have told me, Eliyah, or they'll say Elijah, I've been saving for maybe 5 years or 10 years to come to Africa, and all I want is the best. Show me all the best.
Yes, yes,
So
exactly. Because it is for a lot of us, it's a big trip to consider going to Africa, and we do. We want to see the best animals if possible. So, what time of year for people living in the United States, what month of the year is best to come to Africa? Eliah? His connection may have gone. So, while he's waiting for his connection. Oh, are you there?
yeah, yes, I saw we got disconnected.
Yep, I
Yes,
figure it's okay. I carry the ball. What
yes.
month is best for us to consider coming to Kenya,
Okay.
Africa, see the Tanzania, see the animals?
Yes. Now the best thing is that to come visit for safari, it works best with the same like with overseas. You see, when it's your summertime, yeah, these are the
Oh,
best times, yeah, to come
oh,
to either Tanzania or Kenya because also these are the times when the wild beast migration, yeah, it's happening,
oh,
and this is one of the wonders of the world. You see, so
yes.
during summertime, yeah, it's the best time. But also then, the good thing about coming to Tanzania for safari or maybe Kenya for safari, we are on the equator, you see.
Oh,
So our weather, it's always good anytime to come visit. Apart from February and March, we have some short rains, you see.
okay,
But all the other time, it's very good time to come visit. Yeah.
okay. So
Now, and
what?
for, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, what kind of what are the accommodations like then? You're staying. You mentioned tents. Are they visitors staying in nice tents and they have people make the food? Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, now accommodation. This is another part I'm always very keen on, yeah, because a client can be out there for safari all day taking pictures and everything. And one thing I always know is that when a client goes back to where they're going to have their rest, it should be superb.
Yeah.
So for safaris in Tanzania or either Kenya, we have hotels,
Oh,
yeah,
nice. Oh, wow.
hotels as hotels, yes. And we have from 5 star all the way to 1 star, you see. Then we have what we can say like mid-range hotels, and
Hmm.
then we have budget hotels. And then now we come to budget camping safari. This is whereby igloo type tents, yeah. This is mostly people who do this. Mostly, I find is the students. Either they have come here for volunteering, maybe back home, maybe US or where it is. Maybe they're in college, so they don't have much money. So when they are here in Tanzania, and they say, "Hey, Eliyah, organize for us something budget." Mostly, it's the students who will go for budget safari like that one. But
Right,
mostly, yeah, I get people who are working, yeah,
right.
they have already finished college. Mostly they will tell me, Elia, look, you customize the trip. I have maybe 5 days or 7 days, customize something that I'll be happy. And for me, I always recommend not to stay in a hotel because maybe back home you're traveling, you stay in a hotel. But when they come here, what I normally recommend, it's what we call tented lodge. So it's a big tent. It's most normally it's 2 times the size of a bedroom. You see?
Okay.
So
Yes.
this tented lodge, it has a very it's luxury inside. It has a bathroom, it has a shower, hot shower, it has proper bed, it has a porch outside there, and normally you'll find maybe at the camp there is maybe 10, 15 tents, which are like very top notch, you see. And
Right.
there will be also the game rangers, yeah, that they help so that the animals don't come over the tents, you see. And rarely you'll never hear of any accidents happening there, like a lion coming to attack someone at the tent, you see.
Right,
Yeah.
because you
So
have the people
normally,
there
yeah,
kind of protecting the encampment.
yes.
It sounds
Normal,
amazing.
yeah. Normally clients get
Elias probably got his internet a little off, so while he's sharing, the photos on the website look amazing. And there's also looks like beaches in Zanzibar, which I'll ask about. I mean, it's a country that should be experienced. You're
Yes,
back.
hello.
Yes.
Yes, yes. And I normally tell them, you go for safari. If you won't be happy, just come and tell me. We'll talk about how we can refund. And they normally come back and tell me, I've been back home doing a lot of camping back in the days, but this was awesome experience.
Yeah.
It's just April, take it like you're in a hotel, yeah. But
Right.
this time, this hotel is not built of maybe, uh, it's not built of mortar, you see, but
Right.
proper tent. It's big, big tent, same size as two rooms of bedroom, you see, and the buffet, it's proper, everything's top notch. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That is nice to have it be outside, more in nature, but yet have comfortable
yeah.
bathroom, bed to rest and before the next day. Um,
Yes.
tell me.
And also, sorry, I would like also to add. So normally, you'll find like Serengeti is very big.
Yes.
So I'll normally plan like 2 nights in Serengeti,
Hmm.
and the third night for the clients to be at the normal hotel. And always they tell me tented lodge is the best. It's the best. Yeah,
Wow, nice.
it's quite an experience. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it does
actually,
sound like an experience because you still would be able to kind of have that boundary where you can hear nature outside, but you're safe in
very
your
true.
tent.
Exactly. Yes, yes, yes.
So, tell me a little bit. I also see that there are beaches in Africa, Mombasa.
Yes, Mombasa. Yes, Mombasa is in Kenya. It's a, normally it's a beach. It's a beach for. It's normally coastal beach in Kenya. Yeah, and Zanzibar. It's an island also. Nice beach in Tanzania. Yeah, and normally after safari, many people they just want to go rest maybe for 2 days and just relax here. So normally, like one of the best sellers, it's called the bush to beach safari adventure. So clients will go maybe for 5 days safari or mostly 6 days safari, and then 2 days out there in Zanzibar. Yeah, and
Hmm.
then from there they'll fly back home.
Yeah, Zanzibar looks amazing.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
unique. And
very
probably
unique.
mix of cultures. And tell me a little bit about history of Zanzibar. It's not a place I know much about.
Okay, so Zanzibar, they share the history with Mombasa as well because back long time ago, I sorry I can't exactly remember, maybe 1920s, 30s,
Uh-huh.
between the 40s, yeah. The Arabs were the first ones, yeah, to
Oh.
do the business using that coastal line, and they will do their business through Zanzibar to Mombasa. So you'll find a town like Lamu and Zanzibar. These are very old cities, dating hundreds of years back. You see, so Zanzibar it was started by the Arabs back in the days. They used to do the business there, and Mombasa as well. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty
Yes.
fascinating.
Yeah. So there's a lot of history. There's a lot of history to learn in Zanzibar as well as in Mombasa as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So when the clients are out with the Jeep, is there one guide with them or is there two people usually with them?
Okay. Normally, let's say for example, I have English speaking clients, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I'll always have an English speaking driver guide because the driver at the same time he's the guide. Because
Oh.
once you're in the Jeep, yeah, once you head from Arusha town, yeah, you'll be going through all the way, you'll be passing some small towns, small villages, whereby also you can experience some cultural tour here and there, like especially like the Maasai, you see. And then when you arrive at the national park at the main entrance gate, Once we finish the process of entering now the national park,
Mm-hmm.
there you'll be given the some rules how it's normally done. Once you're inside the national park, a client is not supposed to come out of the jeep
Right.
because some
Okay.
of the bushes can be long and there's a lion hiding there. So once you're inside the national park, most of the time will be spent in the car. But let's say a client maybe wants to use the washroom. There's
Oh,
always hotels. Yeah, so a client, the driver will always drive to a hotel, um, finish the business there, and then keep driving around, taking photos. And the jeeps, they have a pop-up roof, so the client can stand, take the pictures, take maybe a video, something like that.
mm, wow.
Yeah.
That sounds
But
amazing.
then, yeah, but then there is some designated places whereby now the client can come out, even though it's a bush. But then now this kind of experience, we normally have to ask the ranger to accompany us. You see,
Right.
the national park ranger, yeah, and they'll normally have like something like a rifle, just in case an animal comes charging. But normally at that those kind of places, you will find a lion will never go there because lions they normally have their places they like to be. You see, so
Mm,
mostly a place like that, you mostly it will be like a buffalo or maybe a wild beast, a monkey or something like that. You see,
yes. Wow.
yeah.
Lots to know about the animals and their behaviors, where they like to be is amazing. I'm not
Yeah.
sure I'd get out of the Jeep. I think I'd stay in the Jeep.
I'm telling you, once you come to Tanzania, and when you're back at the tented lodge or maybe back at the hotel, and you meet other clients, and they'll tell you how they had a safari, and also they went for walking safari as well, and you'll see it's amazing thing. I'm sure you'll also like to try it as well. Yeah,
Yes, wow. It sounds so incredible. Are
yeah.
there certain animals that you really admire and enjoy seeing after all these years of growing up there?
Ah, I would say, wow, that's always a challenging question, but for me, I'll always say cat family. Yeah, I'll use the word cat family, like the lions,
Oh, like
the
the
leopards.
lions and the
Yeah, the lions, the leopards. I'm always fascinated with these animals because if their stomach is full,
Oh, he's leaving us on a cliffhanger about the lions. I think the lions are
or
beautiful.
anything, you see, they'll just let you pass. But if they're hungry,
They
then
what?
but if the animal is hungry, either lion or maybe a leopard, yeah, the
Uh-huh.
cat family, if they're hungry, you'll never even go even one step. They'll
Right.
be
Yeah, they seem like very smart creatures, the lions. Very like they're watching us as much as we want to see them. I think the internet's not working with us at the moment, but Eliah? Uh, Maybe he's oop.
oh sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. So I find the cat family, the lion, leopard, I find them to be very calm but also dangerous animals
Mm-hmm.
compared to big mammals like elephants. Let's say we are driving out there at the national park, because at the national park,
Yeah,
dusty
elephants.
roads that we're
Yes.
supposed to stick to them and drive only there. So we are not allowed to go off.
Okay, you're supposed to stay on the national park road.
Exactly, yeah. So that we can look also this and we can look after these animals, because otherwise, when people do that, when they just drive carelessly everywhere, even people can take advantage of hunting these animals. You see. So,
Oh.
for example, an elephant. Let's say I stick to the road where I'm supposed to be, but an elephant can just come charging. You see.
Oh. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So Yeah. So my animals that I can say I really like is the lions and the leopards, the cat family. Yeah.
Right, right.
After those animals, maybe the elephants. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
But they don't.
elephants
Yeah.
seem pretty
Yeah.
amazing. They're pretty large creatures.
Yeah. Yeah. But they don't like to be disturbed at all. At all.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? They like their
Yeah.
space. They like their
Yeah.
solitude.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe we can be 10 meters away from the elephant. We have to switch off the jeep so that you can take the pictures and the video. Otherwise, if the jeep keeps running, yeah, and the
Mm,
sound and everything, this can annoy them. Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's amazing. So, do you have suggestions for people who've never been to Africa and what to wear on safari, like how hot it gets, and if it's dusty, how to dress, what to pack?
Okay. Yeah. So you see, to come to Africa, Tanzania and Kenya. So safaris actually they were started back by the colonials, and the word safari it means journey. You see,
Right.
and for safari, it's an adventure, so it's going to be dusty. Yeah.
Yes.
So a client coming out for safari, you have to be prepared for that if you really want to enjoy, because we can have the pop-up roof not opened. You can have the big windows of the safari jeep closed, and you can have your AC aircon in the safari jeep. Yeah, but now you see when other jeeps are passing, the dust will come to the windows, so you won't even be able to take a nice picture. So
Right.
that means we have to open pop-up roof for you to take pictures. So you have to be prepared for a little bit of dust, not much dust, just a little
Right.
bit. It's an adventure, you
Yes.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
if you're just
for
gonna stay, you're right. If you're just gonna stay in with the windows closed and the AC on,
yeah,
you might as well just go sit in front of your computer, not be on the
very true.
adventure.
Very true. Yeah. So normally for clothes, so we normally suggest or we normally recommend not to wear bright colored clothes. Yeah,
Okay.
but casual, just a t-shirt, a pair of jeans, you see, or some anything comfortable, even maybe flip flops. It's okay. It's a safari. It's a safari. But then later on, when you're going, when you're back at the lodge,
But that's good to point out, like plain, not bright colors. I think that's important.
hello.
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
No.
I was just
It,
repeating that it's important. I'm glad that you mentioned not bright colors because, ladies often wear bright colors. So that might startle the animals, which we wouldn't have thought of. So it's good that you mentioned like plain t-shirt, maybe whites, and maybe that's why when you think about when safari was started, you saw like the safari shirts and clothes were khaki and white because it really did have to do with blending in so that for the animals they're not startled by crazy patterns and colors. They're going to see that as different and would might put you in danger. So hopefully Aliya can come back. I don't know how his internet is in Tanzania. This has been so informative. I love that, this is something his father was doing before he started. You there?
hello,
Yep,
you're
you're
back
back.
again.
Yes,
Yes. Sorry. Our internet here in TZ, Tanzania, is still a stone age.
that's all right.
Yeah, hopefully someday we'll catch up. Yeah, yeah. So bright colored clothes, but that's only when you're out for safari.
Okay.
But when you're back at in the evening, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for at the lodge for dinner or anything like that, you can just wear something smart, because also you'll be meeting other clients, and maybe after dinner, people will sit at the bonfire there, or maybe at the bar there to have a drink and chat how their safari was. Maybe it's different people from different companies, from different tour operators, exchange some ideas, what they saw there, and stuff like that. So And in the evening, it might also get a little bit chilly. You
Oh,
see, so it's always
okay.
good to bring even at least one sweater or jumper
Mm-hmm.
just for the evening. Just one will be enough. And then also, I should tell you about the timing. So normally, how the safari works, yeah.
Yes.
Normally, the national park gates we are allowed according to the rules. We are allowed to drive the jeep inside the national park from 6 a.m. in the morning up to 6 p.m. in the evening. And 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. finishing, it's because at this time it's already daylight, and
Oh,
it's easy for me as a driver guide to see small animals and not to
yes.
run them off. Yeah, so this was a good thing that something we discussed all of us to operators with the government, because at times the small animals someone may not see and run over them.
Right.
So normally these clients they'll say, "Hey, Elijah, I'm here on safari. I'm here on holiday. There's no way I'm going to wake up at 6 to go start my safari 6 a.m." So, so I normally tell the clients, once we pick you up from the airport, you are the one every day to say what time you want to start your safari the following day. Because let's say, for example, let's say you're already at the bush already. So
Right.
the driver guide, whenever he drives the client back at the lodge, let's say it will be maybe 5 p.m., or maybe the client said to the driver, "Look, I want to spend a little bit of more time so that I can take good pictures of
Yes.
the sunset." So
Yes.
let's say they take the pictures and everything, and then they're back maybe at the lodge by 6:30. So before the driver leaves, he should make sure they have discussed with the client what time to come pick them up tomorrow in the morning, you
Right.
see, or what time they want to start their safari, you see. So the client can say, "Okay, Elijah, tomorrow maybe I want to start at 9, or maybe at 8." Or maybe there's a client who will say, "Is it flexible exactly at maybe 5:45? Be here, we take our takeaway coffee from the lodge,
Yes. Yeah.
and so that we can get nice pictures of the sunrise."
Right.
You see, because even for the driver also, they won't be sleeping far from where the clients are. So
Okay.
normally there's a part designated, nicer part, obviously, for the clients, and for us driver guides, it's normally like let's say 5 minutes drive. You see,
Nice.
so the driver guide will be there on time, picks up the client, they get some coffee, so that they can take good pictures for the sunrise.
Right.
Then maybe at 7:30 or maybe 8, they drive back to the lodge, they have breakfast, and then afterwards they can go now for safari. Yeah.
Yeah. That
And
sounds like a
also,
wonderful day. I'm glad you
yeah,
described the timing.
yeah, yeah. And also in the afternoon, there's flexibility. There's a client who will say, "Look, Elijah, I don't want to come back at the lodge for the hot lunch. Let's take our picnic, water, and everything. Let's go out for safari. I just want to spend my time out there in the bush, because also out there at the bush there is designated places for the picnic. You
Hmm.
see, so you go out there, you have your lunch out there in the bush. Yeah, but then there's a
Wow.
client who say, I'll feel like I would want a hot lunch. Yesterday it looked very dusty, so I'd like to come back to the lodge. I have a shower, maybe change, then go back, get dusty again."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Split it up.
yeah,
I like that there's options like that. Like you say,
yes,
go out
yes,
for a little bit, come back,
yes,
and then go
yes,
get the
exactly.
sunset pictures. Oh, it
Yeah,
sounds amazing.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Thank you
Yes,
so much,
yes,
Eliah, for your time today. I really appreciate everything you shared. I
yes,
will share this with all my photographer friends because I know some of them have
mm,
not been to
mm,
Africa and Tanzania to see the
okay,
animals. So I
yes,
super appreciate it. I will put a link to your website. And
okay,
what's a final thing you'd like to leave our listeners with?
okay. I would like to say that to all the clients, now Tanzania, it's a very safe country. People are very friendly, and what I can say is that anyone who wants to come for a holiday, they'll never regret. But as long they're choosing nature bond Africa, Karibu sana. Karibu sana means you're very welcome. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So every meet will say thank you so much for your time. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm really, really thankful. Yeah. Thank you. Asante sana.
Thank you, and I hope to make it to Africa and Tanzania to meet you someday. So this is on my
Definitely.
list of places. So I'll stay in touch. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'll